By now, if you're in the crypto industry, you probably already know that Richard Hart, the guy who spends all his time on private jets, buying Louis Vuitton and spending Pulse Chain money, just got sued by the SEC. Now, unfortunately for Richard, he didn't go through the ghost program, so he's not a ghost, so he's toast. The SEC is going to make mincemeat of him because of the scams of Richard Hart and Pulse Chain. Now, I've been talking about this for a while. It's a serious problem because he raised $1 billion. Richard, a free piece of advice: don't stay in Finland or you'll literally be in prison. But I digress. The fact is, I've probably never met more people in my life that said they were going to be a millionaire or billionaire because they put a couple $100 in Pulse Chain with their 69 to 99% yields and with their alleged claims that they're going to make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Well, now it's going to go to zero. And unfortunately, Richard Hart is not the hero. Now, why am I being so hard on this? Because I talked about this about a year ago, and I got attacked left and right. The problem with most crypto is it's centralized garbage. Yes, I said it, centralized garbage. You need to look for decentralized peer-to-peer like Bitcoin, even Ethereum. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Ethereum, but Vitalik keeps building his project, and Vitalik keeps growing the project. So even though Ethereum, I don't think, is the future in the way that other projects could be, we've seen in the down market a lot of these things. Where's Pirate Chain? Where's Darrow? Where are all these projects? Dead, not responding, unrevivable? So look for projects that are actually adding utility and value and are actually decentralized. I've talked about this for a while. The reason I didn't launch my project in the bull market is I wasn't going to do a pump and dump overnight. We're getting ready to launch our decentralized peer-to-peer community-based project, not a internal centralized project like you see a lot of these crypto things, Pulse Chain, Hex, that make the founder a bunch of money, and then ultimately they get sued by the SEC. The Ripple lawsuit was a lot different, so you can't compare it to that because Ripple is an OG in the space. You know, the SEC needed to go after somebody who was doing something wrong. Ripple actually, in a lot of ways, wasn't doing anything wrong. They were competing directly with the banking system, looking at making a better banking system. Now, I don't think XRP is a great project, but I know why they went after them. They wanted to go after a high-level project, and they're not going to be able to go after Bitcoin because there's nobody to go after. Ethereum really didn't make a lot of sense and wasn't in the banking space. It was more in the technology space, Web3 space. You know, you can make a case. But when we talk about privacy projects, and in a second when we talk about privacy tech, and in a second when we talk about the things you need to stay out of the CBDC and the social credit score system, because you can see the social credit scores, and now there are situations where you got to scan your face to go into stores because it worked. It worked. 2020 worked. They caused riots, and they caused hatred, and they caused division, and now they caused crime, and because of that crime, they can justify scanning your face, which is a social credit score, and then they can give you a carbon score, and they can dock you or deny you based on what you eat from your head to your feet, what you buy. The possessions can be tracked, and they can put you in the CBD system because crypto was supposed to be decentralized peer-to-peer, but you've allowed it to become this centralized piece of garbage, and it really pisses me off. People like Richard Hart that contribute to that while he's flying around with fruity colors on his Louis Vuitton on this private jet when he could be actually helping grow the community, and he embezzled a whole bunch of money based on everything that everyone's been reading the last day. But I digress on that. You know, the reality is this keeps happening in the crypto space. Crypto is the last beacon of freedom. So what do you need to do for privacy? Well, we have our own privacy tools section on Privacy X with over 100 things. Forget 10. We got well over in the hundreds. You can see the URL here. And this, you can go see all the privacy tools that I recommend for all of the different things so you can do all the things. But when it comes to crypto, I talk a lot about gold and silver, but I talk a lot about Monero and Bitcoin. My project is going to tie directly into being able to have on and off ramps anonymously for everybody globally, but it's going to be a truly decentralized project from day one on the blockchain. Do you realize that Over 94%, statistically, over 94% of crypto projects aren't even on Web3. In fact, I would bet most of you don't even know what Web3 is. Most of you probably never been on Web3. There's a better chance that you've been on a .onion or deep website than you've been on a Web3 site, because people don't do this. You get things like Cardano, and it's 100% centralized, and it's 100% Web2 based. That's not even crypto. That's not even what it's supposed to be. And so having things where you can have on and off ramps, and you can actually encrypt and protect and decentralize your projects so they're censor free and so they're privacy. You know, all the governments of the world say if you have nothing to hide, you don't need to worry about privacy because we'll protect all of you and you got nothing to hide, so you should live in a glass house. But not us. Don't look at us. We're the elite few, and we classify every single thing that we do. Because we are the few, the elite ones, the chosen ones, and we control you. And you can live in your glass house with your CBDC and your social credit score. Well, luckily for me, I'm not going to partake in the system. And luckily for all my clients, they're not going to partake in the system. Everyone who's taking the Ghost program is either out or on their way out as these things come in. You know, probably the number one country I've been working with people over the last year is Canada. Most of Europe. Australia is high on my list. In fact, I probably work with more Europeans and Canadians than I do Americans, although I work with a lot of Americans. And we've tailored a lot of the things in the Ghost program for that, because your country's going third world and your country's going full dictator. I would argue there's more freedoms in Africa in a lot of places than you have in Canada. In fact, Africa just came out and they're not sending minerals and they're not sending gold anymore to France. Did you guys see this? They're starting to stand up for themselves and unite Africa, while you see the division in Europe. Europe is going to be literally the new Africa, and Africa is going to be the new free nation over the next 50 years, because they've realized what they should have realized a long time ago. They don't need the West. The West is not the best, and when the West put them to the test, they decided to stand up on their own 2 feet. They don't need all this garbage that we keep shoveling over there. In fact, America is such a disgrace that Joe Biden threatened to withhold aid from a couple of African nations if they don't arrest Putin. Arrest Putin, one of the most powerful world leaders in the world, that would surely create a nuclear war in World War III. Nobody's going to arrest Putin, least of all Africa. No offense to Africa, but they're not a very powerful nation. They're certainly not going to arrest Putin and get wiped off the map. And then, of course, the West will tout, the humanity, the lack of humanity. Nobody's going to arrest Putin. And so they said that because they don't arrest Putin, they're going to withhold aid. And then like a boss, my guy from Africa said, hey, keep your aid. It looks like you need it more than we do. Oh, Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, New York, just to name a few. You can see these cities. Oh, the red, white, and blue, as poor as can be. Third world on our streets. And it's because of the politicians and what they've been doing. So when you look at these things, when you look at privacy, when you look at security, when you look at crypto, it becomes the freedom. So I could talk about 10 tools, and I will here in a second. But before we really dive into that, you need to have the mindset to fully understand what crypto is. It is the last beacon of freedom. Your privacy is the last beacon of freedom. You being able to be outside the system that's coming is your last chance at freedom, because once you're in, there is no out. It's not like you can quit. It's not like a job where you can quit. It's going to be more like the military, where if you quit, they put you in prison. You need to never be in the system to start with. You need to never partake in the CBDC. You need to make these CBDCs fail. The institutional investors that are propping up Bitcoin, the Vanguards, the BlackRocks. I mean, have you seen what's happening with the beer industry? Have you seen what they're pumping into the beer industry? Bill Gates just bought a minority share in Heineken. These beers are some of the most popular beers in the world right now, in America. They're being pumped full of garbage. I'm not going to say vax, but I'm also not going to not say vax type synthetics. And we all know it. Now, I don't drink beer, and I recommend you don't drink beer, but frankly, if you do drink beer, I recommend you find an independent local brewer, because if you're drinking any of these big name ones, and you're no longer going to be able to say you're not vaxxed, because it's a coming, my guy. Same thing with the food system. You really need to look at what foods you're injecting into yourself because of all the synthetics they're putting into these things. So when you look at being dumbed down for the system and being able to have your face scanned and your fingerprints and your vein scans just to go in the store to be able to buy something, where you think, well, I could buy things online. but they're going to be able to put you right where they want to put you to be able to keep you in this system. And that's the fundamental problem. So how can you stay out of it? Well, crypto is an important thing. You know, right here I've got what the industry calls a hardware wallet. This is a Bitbox, and I highly recommend Bitbox for Bitcoin. I highly recommend Bitcoin and Monero. And if you're going to diversify, this is incredible for Bitcoin, and I recommend all of you look into the Bitbox. It's on PrivacyX. It has been for a long time. And this is what's commonly called the Trezor. The Model T, you've heard of this. You've seen this. You've seen this around. This is a great place for Monero. So let's talk about some of this, because when I talked about Richard Hart before, I got attacked because everyone said he's the gospel of crypto. Turns out he's just another Ponzi artist. But it is what it is. And if you are mad at that statement, I really don't care, because he's flying around on other people's money when he didn't build a decentralized platform like he could have. He just wanted to build a pump and dump scheme, and now the SEC is going to dump him right into a cage. So I digress. His name's not Hart, but his real name's out there. His location's out there, and it's not going to go well for him. I wish him the best, and I'm not agreeing with the SEC, but I'm also not agreeing with him because I never thought that pulse chains or Hex was really going to add any value to the community the way that a lot of other projects are. Are they decentralized? Are they peer-to-peer? Are they adding value? Or are they just making false claims about being billionaires because you invested $1,000? That's the problem with crypto. It's not cryptocurrency. It's crypto get-rich-quick scheme. And if you guys don't get rid of that theme real quick, you're going to give all these world leaders a reason to bring crypto to its knees. Period. End of story. And then you're going to lose because you're going to have the biggest crap coin there is, CBDCs. That's where you're going to get. And it's like a disease, and it's spreading, and it's going to bring people to their knees from here to overseas, across the board, no matter what. This is what's happening. So you got your Bitcoin, you got your Monero. You can utilize Exodus. So what should you have? Well, you should have a dedicated device like a Linux phone like this, or a Linux laptop like this. Maybe the System 76 is a good option for you. It's what I like to use, System 76 products. You've got a Linux product that you own, because you don't own a Windows product and you don't own an Apple product. Look, I got Apple products. I certainly own nothing on Windows, but I've got Apple products. Problem is you don't own them. You do not own them. They own you. They're great for content creators and things like that, but they're not great for things like crypto. You can use them if you have to, and if you don't have the money, having a dedicated device is better than not having a dedicated device. But having these things is very important. So you have your hardware wallets. Now, these are no good without being plugged into a device. They're both USB-C, but you can get cords that they work on any device. I recommend a Linux phone. I recommend a Linux laptop. And then I recommend using something like Unix or Cubes and having a compartmentalized virtual system on your machine. I've done tutorials here on my channel about virtual machines, so I don't need to do them again. You can go watch those videos here on the PrivacyX project, and I've broken it all down for you. But that's what I recommend having on there. Then what I recommend is utilizing wallets. You can use Trust Wallet. You can use Cake Wallet. Talk about a system that's really died. I was excited about Cake Wallet for a while, but it's really died out. They don't do the gift cards anymore. The project seems to be falling apart. Again, there's so many projects with no utility because it's a bear market, and people don't want to build value in utility. They want to just have a get-rich, fly-by-night, get-rich-quick scheme. And this is the problem in the crypto industry. This is why when I launch my product, I don't give a crap if we're in a bear market, because I'm talking about a decentralized project that is community-based. Something that actually adds value. Not something that is just for the chosen few. That is so pathetic, and people got to quit falling for this, not even for their own sake, because I don't care if idiots lose their money. What I care more about is it gives a black eye to the industry. An idiot and their money are going to be separated no matter what, and I really don't care. What I care about is the black eye to the industry, because that affects all of us, and that's the fundamental problem. You know, everyone was complaining about Richard Hart, and now I thought everyone was protecting that guy. You look on social media, you look on Twitter, he is getting wrecked, because it turns out that thousands of people filed reports against him because every video he's flying around on private jets with Louis Vuitton, and then like, we're getting ready to maybe someday we might put out some someday because we're getting ready to do something. Maybe someday we might do something. It's never going to happen, guys. There's nothing there. He embezzled the money. They already went through all the finances. So the reality is there's just nothing there. And so this is what's going to fundamentally happen. And a lot of people woke up realizing this project they put all their faith in was just a pump and dump and ultimately going to end up as a rug pull. But he didn't even get a chance to fully pull the rug. He slowly kind of tugged on it for a little while. So what you need to do with your crypto is find crypto that has utility, things that actually have value long-term, and ideally things that are decentralized, that cannot be censored, and things that are on Web3. Do you know that there's, again, not only is there a better chance that you've been on a deep website than you've been on a Web3 website, most people have no idea what it is, but also understanding that decentralized cannot be censored under any circumstances. The only way to do that is to take down the internet, and that's not even possible anymore with solar. So the only way to do that would be to black out the world, which is simply not going to happen, because the last people who want a blacked out world are the politicians that are old as dirt, because they're the first ones that are going to get run up on. So it's just simply not going to happen. There's a lot of these conspiracy theories. That's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen, because if they do that, they lose 100% of their power. They won't even do that in communist China, because even they're more than anything, they need the media, they need these things to brainwash people, because as soon as people unplug from the system, the people are going to go berserk, and that is what scares them to their core. It's never going to happen. All these idiots talking about, oh, there's going to be a blackout, Black Hawk down. No, it's never going to happen. Only a fool would think that. What's actually happening across the board, without question, is they're utilizing these to pivot us into the CBDCs. It's not going to be less tech. It's going to be more tech. You think the government's going to let tech go? No. They want you to have chips in your arms, chips on your foreheads, synthetics in your beer, synthetics in your food. They want it all. It ain't going to be less tech. It's going to be way, 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 way more tech. Way more tech. So you need to look for tech that adds value to you. Linux is a good place to start. Now, you've got your crypto wallet. You've got your Linux machine. I don't care if it's a phone, graphene works, Linux works, computer, good for you. You got your virtual box, your virtual machine. You've got your cubes or you've got your Hunix. You're utilizing a connection like with my Bitbox, I can connect directly through Tor if I want to. I can connect directly through 6 different nodes. I can reroute them around the entire planet. I can run things through Molvad, which I respect Molvad because it's a company where I can actually use crypto to buy their product. Like I said about Cake Wallet falling apart, you know, you use Cake Wallet, you use Trust Wallet. I'm a big fan of Exodus, so you've got Exodus on your machine, so you can swap in and out of your Monero, okay? So you're building yourself an ecosystem to be able to get in and out of these things. This is very important. Now, the project I'm building, I can't talk too much about, but it's going to allow you to on and off ramp these things. Now, I talk about everyone should have an institutional account, because if you don't have an institutional account coming with the laws that are going to be coming up over this year, you're not going to be able to partake in crypto over $1,000. Have you read the bills? Congress going on recess for 6 weeks. When they come back, they're going to start down that path. Now, it's not really going to go into effect till after the new year, but we're only like less than half a year away. And then you guys aren't going to be able to partake. But meanwhile, Vanguard and BlackRock and all these companies with trillions upon trillions of dollars are tripling and quadrupling down on their Bitcoin-related financial vehicles. Yeah. All of their financial instruments are lining up. They've already got all their applications in the government. They're already getting ready to all get approved. And then as soon as the regulations are in place, they can pump in their trillions. But if you're not set, if you're not already ghosted, if you don't already have your institutional account, you can't partake. And even if you do partake, try to spend it, you're going to get a nice brand new set of handcuffs, my guy. So it's really not worth it. It's not worth it. So you need to structure yourself. Good thing is you have a little bit of time. Bad thing is you only have a little bit of time, so you need to start taking action on a regular basis. This isn't going to happen tomorrow. This isn't going to happen next month, but it will happen next year, without a question, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's going to happen in the U.S., and it's going to create the catalyst for all of Europe. Europe's already in. All of Australia. Australia's done. They're right on board. Canada will do whatever the heck the United States does, and way more. They want to go way further. Canada wants to go full dictator, China. I mean, Justin Castro, oh man, I can't believe I said that out loud. Justin Trudeau is a disaster, and he hates Canada, and he wants to destroy the country, obviously. But of course, that's just my opinion. I would never slander anybody. That's just my opinion about old Justin Trudeau. And, you know, the reality of the situation is having your things ready, having your system in place. Now, Should your system be encrypted? Yes. Should you use anything on the mainnet? Should you use anything through the traditional system? Well, of course you have to. You already plugged into it. But as you pivot over to Web3, and I want to be very clear, Web3 is not a bad thing if used properly, if used privately. Web3 is going to be better than Web2 because it's going to be censor-proof. But the Web3 that I'm building on, the Web3 that I see, the Web3 that me and my team see, private, secure, encrypted, decentralized, peer-to-peer, community, real community, unable to be censored. Right, privacy guy? Right. So the reality is, I'm not a puppeteer. I can't make voices. But the reality is, this is going to be great if you're set up and you're structured. The problem is if you're not, all your information, all your data, all your private information can be used against you. The entire social credit score, the entire CBDC. Guys, have you seen WorldCoin? Okay, it's going to be a voluntary basis getting started. There's people lining up around the block to have their retina scanned. You can't change your retina. People like me, and there's dozens of other companies are working with other companies to have contacts and glasses that could actually change your retina from a focal point of view. And these idiots are lining up around the block to get WorldCoin to scan your retina so they can build a database of everyone's eye. You want to talk about real 1984 control. We are so far past that. And these guys aren't getting anything other than lining up around the block like they're getting a crappy iPhone on Christmas and a cheap TV at Walmart. This is insane, but they're doing it. So don't act like your fellow man and fellow woman is not an idiot, because unfortunately, there's a lot of them are. But there's a lot of people very smart. Look at you watching this video, extremely smart, preparing yourself, getting ready to ghost yourself, getting ready to take yourself to the next level. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about standing on your own 2 feet, being private, secure. I don't care if you're American or French, Canadian. I don't care if you're Australian. I don't care if you're African or Asian, Malaysian, Mongolian, Moroccan, Macedonian. I don't know, just too many M's. But, you know, the fact is people got to start standing up and understanding that the government is not for the people, by the people, of the people. The government is for themselves, period. And if you give them a centimeter, they'll take 1 billion miles. And so this is what you need to start looking at. Really start supporting, in my opinion, projects that have real utility, real value, really are decentralized. Whenever you're looking at crypto, people are like, what's going to make me the most money? What's going to have the 100x? Nothing. Nothing. This is insane. This is not a Ponzi scheme. Focus on value. The money will be there. The money will be there if you focus on value. When the institutional money comes, I hope you're set up. I genuinely do, because if you're not going to be able to partake. The tools I just told you about, and I've told you about dozens of times, are going to help you set yourself up so when this stuff comes, you're going to be able to have your crypto safe and secure. You're going to be able to get in and out, because I hope you already have an institutional account and you're ghosted fully. If not, you can check out the first link down below. But I also hope that you have your system with your crypto set up. You own your keys. You're not on a piece of garbage like Ledger. There's no coming back from that Ledger. None. You can sue me if you want to. They didn't like that I cut the Ledger with my bandsaw in my video. And the CEO apparently walked this, oh, we're not doing. No, you said it. You said it. You said you're going to take the keys and get, no, your keys, your crypto. Not your keys, not your crypto. You have no business doing what you said you're going to do. And because you said it, it's happening no matter what. There's no going back to Ledger. Ledger needs to die. Bud Light needs to die. CMT needs to die. Target needs to die. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about entities and brands. These brands have no more value because they're a disease on the people. If you shop at Target, you drink Bud Light, you have a Ledger, and you watch CMT. I love country music. Not on CMT, I don't. This is the problem. You have all the power. You vote with your wallet. You use your voice. Your real vote doesn't count. Your voice counts. Your wallet counts. Period. End of story. That's it. So start taking action. Quit looking for the politician that's going to help you. I just gave you what you need to do. That's every one of you should have that setup. If you don't have that setup, you should get going. You should be fully ghosted. You should have a absolute institutional account, or at least be on your way to making one by next year. You 100% should have all your crypto, and they should be actual crypto. I talk about Monero and Bitcoin because they'll be here. They have value. There's a lot of other good cryptos, but I don't talk about them a lot. Why? Because they're fly-by-night, because they're centralized. Cardano, centralized. XRP, Pulse Chain, glad I don't own any. You know, you look at these things. Dogecoin, Elon Musk takes a picture of his dog. Oh, up 10,000%. It's not a real thing. It's a meme coin. There's no meme coins, folks. It is a scam, period. A meme coin is code for scam. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. You know, the problem is I'm censored to the point where it's ridiculous. Okay, every comment's like, oh my God, I didn't know you make video. I've been unsubscribed. And listen, if you don't like me or my videos, don't watch. But here's the thing. There's no chance of me getting my word out there because these platforms suppress me at a level that is unprecedented. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I keep making them because I have children. Maybe you have children and you want a brighter future. It's the only reason I do this anymore. It certainly isn't financial because the businesses I run, I don't make 1/10 of 1/10 of 1/10 of a percent by doing these videos. And I'm never going to be a big video creator because it's not possible in this niche. It's not possible for someone like me because I'll tell the truth and I'll tell you guys how it really is. What they want is for me to go show you my cars and show you big houses and maybe put some girls on both sides and maybe I could stack my money up outside the frame of the camera because I'm successful. And you know what? I wear basic brands and some Carhartt or some Levi's or some Under Armour. I wear custom-made cowboy boots or a cowboy hat or this, that. No, what they want is Gucci and Prada, and you want to see my car and my house and my gold chains and bling bling. But that's not me. That's just not me. When I was poor, I was a basic guy. And now that I'm not poor, I'm a basic guy. I'm not a flashy guy. I don't have a lot of style. I have nice things because I'm successful, but that doesn't matter to me. And I have no interest in coming on here bling bling. So the kids aren't going to watch my cool channel because I'm not Logan Paul. And I'm not talking about some BS of a guy in a dress or 19 genders. And I'm never going to talk about all these goofy things. And because of that, because I'm talking about people actually having privacy and freedom, well, that's not cool. That's not cool. Where's your car? Where's your house? Where's your Porsche? Where's your Lamborghini? That's what they want to see. That's not me. It's just not me. Can't do it. Just can't do it. My biggest flex in life is my children. I homeschool my children. I have 4 children. They're homeschooled. I will flex that on any amount of money. There's always somebody richer. I'm successful. There's tons of people more successful than me. But I homeschool my children. I spend basically all day, every day with my kids. That's my biggest flex. And I hope that's your biggest flex one day, either way, now or later. I don't care about what I own. Doesn't matter. I grew up poor. Now I'm not poor. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, freedom is a lot more valuable than money. And the ability to have freedom and privacy in the future is a lot more valuable than money. So let me finish with a couple more because I know. So, oh my gosh, the video starts at 5. You know, at a certain point, you get sick of making these videos because there's just no point. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm trying to decide eventually if I'm even going to keep doing this because sometimes I feel like it's not worth it. There's nobody out there. Humanity doesn't care. And I can't put anything. You can't do anything. Your video gets taken down. Like, it's crazy what people accept.